Jeff, are there any more ways that we can tell people about Patreon?
You mean patreon.com/wehaveconcerns?
Yeah.
The only way that the show is made possible?
Right. The entire way we fund the show and the way that people can get extra episodes and early episodes and all kinds of bonus content. Do you think we've done that all the ways?
We haven't done a musical version.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Doctors are people.
They fall in love.
They're not gods.
They have relationships.
They can't save everyone.
Oh, man.
Why hasn't anybody thought of this? This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Here's an interesting story Chris Leslie sent to us.
Nah, fuck it. I don't want to do an interesting one this week.
But this is interesting.
Nah, give me a garbage story this week.
All right. Here's a garbage story. Coincidentally, also from Chris Leslie. This is about a police department in Michigan that decided that...
Patrol birds!
No, that would be cool.
One day.
Patrol birds would be amazing.
My guess is always going to be patrol
By
birds.
the way, if any producers are watching, our script for Patrol Birds is still circulating. We've done a touch-up.
Also,
we
the
punched
spin-off,
it up.
Patrol Birds Medical.
Patrol
Birds ER.
Yeah.
We got this all figured out. Patrol Birds...
First response birds.
Patrol Birds Special Victims Unit. When weird and terrible crimes are done to birds.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the birds that they send in.
That's right.
So anyway, this story is about police birds.
They always hear a horrible thing happening on the squawk box. See?
Get the fuck out of my life.
That's what happens, and then they fly right
How
over.
fucking dare you.
This was sent to wehaveconcerns@gmail.com, which is where you send stories.
Yep. You can also send them to the subreddit, which is wehaveconcerns.reddit.com. It's also a great place to hang out with other people who enjoy the show, talk about episodes, braid each other's hair. I don't know what Reddit is.
No, I think they braid.
Okay.
It's all braids, as far as the eye can see. This is a police department in Michigan that...
Patrol birds! No, I'm sorry.
They had a murder that happened, and... they wanted to find out some evidence on the phone of the murder victim. Unfortunately, the murder victim was dead. So what they ended up doing and wanting to do is 3D print a finger to swipe.
No.
3D print a finger to swipe.
No.
So that the fingerprint reader would let them unlock the phone.
No.
Yep. That's what they want to do.
Okay. This can only be a news story because it worked. They don't write a news story that's like, police prints a 3D finger and sends out a press release about how they fucked up.
Well, it hasn't worked yet.
Idiot police department sends out a press release about their own fuck up.
Police department whose squad of birds have been highly ineffective attempts another dumb idea.
Rumor has it was the birds that did it because they're being treated like second-class officers.
They're undermining the whole system this way. Bird pranks.
Pranks.
These guys, the reason the story was written is because they filed a, what do they do? To the judge. They asked the judge.
Freedom of Information Act, injunction.
Yeah, they asked the judge for
warrant.
Yeah, they approached a professor at Michigan State to see if he could do it. He's like, could you 3D print a finger for us? We have a fingerprint. So they don't know if it's going to work yet, but this is an interesting idea.
So they actually haven't done it.
Haven't done it.
Wow.
As of the date of this
article.
article.
Motherfuckers. Because if this thing doesn't work, y'all gonna look stupid. Why would you put the press release out now?
That's a good point.
That's crazy.
But
do it afterwards.
What do you think about this? What do you think about
Here's what I think. I think
3D printing a finger in order to get into... I mean, it's kind of cool that the tech might work.
It's cool that the tech might work. Here are my concerns about it. Number one, do they have a material that they can 3D print in that will conduct electricity in the same sort of way that human skin does?
That's a big question.
That's a big question. But I would assume that the professor wouldn't even take on the challenge if he didn't think the answer to that was yes.
Right.
So my second question is, having used 3D printers, let's talk about resolution, Jeff.
Has to be pretty intense.
Let's talk about resolution.
Pretty high DPI on that finger.
I have used 3D printers, and like, man, they don't have that detail. You know what I mean? And a lot of 3D printers have they have that uneven surface.
Right.
You know, where that glossy, it's almost like a record, like a vinyl record.
Right.
The surface of something that's 3D printed. And just those grooves and seams in the layers of polymer are thicker than a fingerprint.
Right.
I don't know that they'll be able to pull this off.
Well, if they aren't able to do it now, it's only a matter of time until they are able to do it.
Sure, but I mean, like, what's the statute of limitation? Well, there isn't one. Murder.
No, man. This could be a cold case.
What?
This could be the new, we found DNA evidence, is that we've just been 3D printing fingers all up in you. We got a sack full of fingers, and we're going to distribute them to all the cases.
Yo, somebody's got to tell the bird police.
Yeah.
They have to know. But, like, when did they took it this... I'll tell them now.
Well, now they know.
That was really tense and dramatic if you speak any kind of bird. Then, you know, what's really impressive is Jeff Kanata, trained actor, did 3 different bird dialects there.
Yeah. Well, I had a whole class in college, bird dialects, which it only comes in use if you're doing the seagull. Chekhov joke. It's a Chekhov joke. You check that off the list. Chekhov joke. The seagull. See, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, I see.
We've all seen the movie where the guy steals the eyeball from the thing to get into the eye scanner in the future, right?
Yeah, Johnny Eyeball.
Right, Johnny Eyeball.
Johnny Eyeball he was good at stealing eyeballs.
Yes.
It was based on a Philip K. Dick novel.
Starring Keanu Buchanan.
Sorry, Keanu Buchanan, the southern general version of Keanu Reeves, who gave up his career in the military to be an action hero, to be Johnny Eyeball.
That's the DVD that your grandma accidentally gets for you when you want a Johnny Mnemonic.
I don't know how she could confuse the two. They're not even phonetically similar in the least.
Yeah, well, she's...
Still, even with Johnny Eyeball in the mix, the worst case scenario is your grandmother comes home with Johnny Dangerously.
I love that movie. That's an amazing movie. Come on.
It's a fine movie. It's no Johnny Eyeball.
Oh, I love that.
I think we all know it's no
Testicles
Johnny.
and you?
The part of Johnny Eyeball, though,
that's true,
where he rappels down from the ceiling, and just snatches the crime boss's eyeball out of his eye when he's sleeping and his eyelid is closed.
And he doesn't even wake up.
Doesn't wake up.
How does he do that? That's how good he is.
Johnny Eyeball. That's how he does it.
Yeah.
And there's that bird cop that's always trying to bust him. Sergeant Seagull.
Sergeant Seagull. He does the beach beat. But don't...
The whole thing's set in a vacation town.
Yeah.
A rich vacation town. And
Sergeant Seagull's lost so many good men to eating Alka-Seltzer.
He used to be a city cop. That's the thing, but he saw too many good men eat Alka-Seltzer pellets that the kids would leave on the streets.
Oh, it was a terrible time. That's why he's hardened.
He had to get out of there.
Yeah, that's why he's hardened.
But he's not built for this beach life.
No.
He's not built for it. He just spends hours hovering in the same place over the sand.
That's right.
Thinking about all the men he's lost.
He's too old for this shit.
He's way too old for this shit. Yeah, that's old. That's old. He's like, one day, Johnny Eyeball.
Get to it, but that seems 16 like an appropriate age.
One day. Anyway, it's really more about Sergeant Seagull than it is about Johnny Eyeball, if I can be honest.
Well,
it's kind of like a Pink Panther thing, where it's like, this movie isn't about David Niven.
Right.
This isn't about him. This is a Peter Sellers movie. Which is why, when you buy the box set, it's called The Seagull Chronicles, and it doesn't even mention Johnny Eyeball.
Well, you get Johnny Eyeball, you get Harold Fake Leg, you get...
and then on the third one, it was called Timmy 20 Fingers, a Sergeant Seagull mystery.
Yeah.
And that was the real turning point, I think.
Well, they couldn't get the same actor for Sergeant Seagull.
No, because they die.
He got too big
birds die so fast.
Yeah, 6 years.
You know what the average lifespan of a bird is? Because I don't. But I feel like I've never seen the same bird twice. Parrots live 100 years, and the reason why is because they did a dark magic on the other birds. And now the other birds can only live I think birds live 4 days.
I don't know.
I've never had a bird. So anyway, this story is about 3D printing.
So the other thing that it makes me think of, other than, eyeballs in movies, is, did you ever see that Black Mirror episode where they clone a person's psyche and put it inside a thing? And then, I'm spoiling it if you haven't seen it, but you ends up the whole reason he was there is to get them to confess to a crime. If we are able to one day download our consciousness into something, this Black Mirror episode totally predicts this kind of thing where if you can just 3D print a finger to get into a phone, why couldn't you just copy somebody's consciousness in order to interrogate them?
God, but think of I I feel like there's a large step between the two.
First fingers and a
It's
3D
just-
printer.
What it is
and now consciousness.
what he does is it's like a weird science situation, right? Where they're like, oh, it didn't work, but then like
Then you make the boobs bigger.
then you make the boobs bigger and the lightning strikes.
Yeah.
And that's what it is they 3D print a finger and then the guy comes back, he goes to get a sandwich when the 3D printer is printing and the lightning strikes and he comes back, printed a whole fucking brain.
A brain.
It's his brain.
The killer's brain.
The killer's brain, which is also him, and he didn't even know it because he has an alternate personality. He was in a fugue state the whole time.
That was the
Who
weirdest.
found out?
The
Sergeant
weirdest
Siegel.
Sergeant Siegel mystery of them all.
What is this story about 3D printing a finger? Okay, here's the thing. I think we are still very far away from 3D printing this finger.
But let's say we aren't. Let's say we could do it right now. Do you
Okay.
think it's something that our law enforcement should be doing?
No, but I do think it's a dope thing for a George Clooney movie about a thief.
Yeah.
You know, if they're
Yeah.
gonna do a new, or a Pierce Brosnan, like if they're gonna do a new Thomas Crown Affair, he's
Yeah.
gonna do that thing where he uses like the powder and like the sticky tape to transfer a fingerprint.
And then cut to the scene in his office where he's just sitting there for 20 minutes.
for 20 hours, 3D
watching-
printing a finger.
It's in real time. And you just watch it just go dee
And they just keep cutting away. They just keep cutting away to the curator. And the curator's like, I'm telling you, I feel like somebody's going to try to steal this painting while it's here. Well, it's only here for another 3 days. So I feel like it's pretty safe.
Pierce Brosnan just brooding in his office, staring at the
Just
3D printer.
getting older.
Just looking
Even
at it.
older. Cut back to the curator. Well, I suppose you've done a very good job, Chief of Security. But there is 1 day left. There's still time. Anything could happen.
Well, don't you worry. It would take the actual finger on your hand to get through this techno lock.
And my hands are locked in these blocks of solid aluminum, as they have been since the painting got here. It's sort of for the safety of the painting. It's also a sex thing.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It has not been pleasant wiping your ass.
It has not been pleasant having you wipe my ass.
But I gotta do the job.
And I've told you exactly how I like it. And I don't understand how it hasn't gotten any more pleasant.
I've never heard anyone do the swirly method. It's usually either front to back or
Who
back to
doesn't
front.
do the swirling? Meanwhile, anyway, I hate to spoil the ending, but the painting's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't get done in time.
But the finger
It's remarkable.
It is remarkable,
Yeah.
and it would have worked. It would have worked. Yeah. I don't know. There are a lot of reasons why this is not a practical idea.
Yeah.
But it is cool that they're thinking about this, and it is cool that it could potentially work.
It is, you know.
Because I would like to steal a lot of things that are fingerprint locked.
How many things
All the coolest things are fingerprint
Are
locked.
they? Have you
I
come
think
into
so.
contact with a lot of fingerprint locks? Because I haven't.
I
Other
mean,
than phones.
I've come in contact with a couple fingerprint locks, and I don't know what was on the other side, but I bet it was cool.
Yeah.
I bet it was cool. You know what's on the other? My door opens with a key. You know what's on the other side? My like fucking garbage toy collection and shit.
Yeah.
I don't
I
have
don't
a
understand why you
fingerprint lock.
collect garbage toys. Like different versions
Because
of
once,
garbage.
Jeff, those toys were loved.
Oh. Nobody wants to play with a garbage in the box.
I'll take you home, garbage in the box. I'll take you home.
You're a good man, Anthony Carboni. If I haven't said that
I'm a
to you
good man
lately,
and a great thief.
And
And
a
an
te-
even better thief once my 3D printer comes in.
after you get that PhD in thieving, that'll be good.
It'll be really good. I don't know. I would like to know, man, if there's anybody in our audience that has like a really high-end 3D printer or has any experience with this, what do you think are the odds of it working? I think the biggest question that I don't know the answer to is whether they can print something out of a material that would conduct the electricity like a human finger. You know,
Right.
because like you put on a glove or something and that fingerprint lock doesn't work.
Right.
So
well,
that's
no,
the
but they
biggest thing
have
I wanna
conductive gloves.
That's true, but can you print something out of the same stuff that conductive gloves? Because 3D printers
That would be
can only use stuff-
delightful. What if I had a glove that was 3D printed to look like my actual hand with fingerprints and all?
like that motorcycle helmet that's just a head of hair.
Yeah, I could actually wear gloves when it's cold that were just my hands.
Yeah.
and people think I just have
look-
slightly larger
Just
hands.
weird hands. Like those
saggy hands.
Like when you when they do a photo of a stuntman and he's wearing one of those helmets.
Yeah,
And you're
they
like,
just
how
call
did
me-
I not notice that?
They call me old saggy hands.
That's what they call you anyway.
I didn't know that.
Jeff just turned 50 last week, you guys. That's
I
why they
did
call him
not.
that. That's why they call him that.
You know
did
what,
have
though?
A birthday. Here's
I'll be
two
honest.
things we want. We want to know that if you can. We want to know if you can print this thing. If you know anything about 3D printing, if you think it's possible.
Can we
Number
send
two,
you pictures of our fingers and have you print them?
And then number two,
Please.
Just wish Jeff a happy 50th birthday.
That's
For the love of
I'm
God.
not 50. But the first place you do see
Okay,
it
okay,
is in
okay.
your hand.
He's 49, the same way he has been for the last 6 years. You know what I'm saying?
Damn you, God damn you.
And hey, if you're enjoying the show,
I'm enjoying the show. Very much.
Yeah, but you don't have many years left, so I want to talk to the audience and see if they're enjoying the show. Because if they are, we would love it if you went to iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play Music Podcast, whatever the fuck it's called, and leave us a 5-star review.
Yeah, 5 stars actually helps the show because people search based on the reviews and it pumps those highly rated shows to the top. It's really, really useful for us.
Super useful. They're gonna ask you to write a review.
Oh, don't do that. You don't waste saggy hands on that.
No. Your hands will just, you'll come out with hands throbbing and sagging.
Yeah.
Don't do it. What you do instead is just write me a Sergeant Seagull mystery.
Yeah.
Please.
Don't
instead
reveal
of
the
a review.
ending until the end.
That's good advice. He learned that from his subscription to Ellery Queen. That's a deep cut for nerd kids.
Boy.
You ever read that? Ellery Queen's
No.
mystery magazine?
I never did.
Ooh,
That is a deep cut.
that is a deep cut.